The Chicago Bears are slowly reaching a point that fans have been waiting years to see, a roster that finally feels competitive, balanced, and built to withstand the long grind of an NFL season. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get more interesting, one of the most respected draft analysts in the game released a mock draft that sent the fanbase into full discussion mode. A new 2026 NFL mock draft has suggested that the Bears could land a massive steal late in the first round, a player who, not long ago, was expected to be a top 10 lock. In this mock projection, Chicago selects T.J. Parker, the explosive Clemson edge rusher who burst onto the scene early in his college career but whose final season didn't quite produce the sensational highlights many expected. Still, despite the dip, his talent remains undeniable. Before diving into Parker's upside and how he fits Chicago's long-term vision, it's important to understand where the Bears' true needs stand entering the upcoming offseason. And honestly, the picture is clearer than ever. While there are multiple positions that may require attention, depending on how certain veterans finish the season, who gets re-signed, and what contract decisions the front office makes, one area stands above everything else. Edge rusher. Not just a need, the need. The unquestioned top priority. Every other position on the roster feels flexible. Left tackle is a maybe, depending on how strongly AZ Trapillo closes out the year. Safety is a concern only because nearly every top option on the roster is hitting free agency at the same time. Defensive tackle could use depth. Running back might require attention if production dips. But none of these issues are as urgent as the glaring truth staring this team in the face. Chicago needs more firepower off the edge. Desperately. And that's exactly why this mock draft is generating so much buzz. Because if the Bears really do end up selecting 31st overall, which itself speaks volumes about how well the team performed, landing a 3-year Clemson starter who once looked like a guaranteed top 10 pick would be stunning value. Parker's resume already speaks loudly. As a freshman, he stormed out with 5.5 sacks and 12.5 tackles for loss. His sophomore year? Even better, a dominant 11-sack season with nearly 20 tackles for loss. That was the year scouts began placing him firmly in the top 5 conversation. This season was different. Not bad, just not elite. 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Solid production, good impact, but not the sky-high, explosive output many expected. But anyone who watches football knows this, numbers don't always tell the full story. Especially when a defense underperforms around a star player. Parker still graded extremely well in advanced metrics, strong pressure rate, high run defense numbers, and a skill set that translates smoothly to the NFL. He's long. He's powerful. He's disruptive. He is everything a modern defensive coordinator wants in a complete, every-down edge rusher. And that brings us to the real question, is T.J. Parker the perfect match for Chicago's biggest weakness? Spoiler alert, yes. Yes, he might be. If you examine what Chicago's defensive staff values, Parker fits the mold almost perfectly. This team wants size on the edge. Length. Power. Players who can hold the point of attack in the run game, collapse a pocket with strength, and win with technique, not just pure athleticism. Parker is built exactly that way. At roughly 6 feet 3 inches, 265 pounds, with long arms and a physical, hands-first style, he checks nearly every box. And what's even more encouraging is that he has already produced multiple seasons of high-level play against top competition. Some scouts have pointed out that he didn't finish as many splash plays this past season. That's true. But the pressures were still there, and pressure is often a better predictor of NFL success than sack totals. On film, he consistently wins early in reps, converts speed to power, and plays with an intensity that defensive coaches love. And even though Clemson's defense struggled this past season, Parker didn't fade. He continued to grade out well, continued to create havoc, and continued to show why he is still considered one of the top prospects in the class. And here's the part that should excite Bears fans even more. If this team really is picking late in the first round, it's because Chicago finally took the leap forward everyone has been waiting for. That means the roster is strong enough to avoid relying on rookies to save the franchise. It means the Bears can take advantage of value. It means a prospect like Parker, who might have gone top 5 1 year earlier, could land in their lap at the perfect time. Before we go deeper into positional needs and roster construction, let's pause for one moment. If you're enjoying this in-depth breakdown and want more detailed Bears analysis, draft coverage, film studies, and daily updates, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you never miss a major Bears storyline, trade rumor, or draft projection. Your support helps us keep delivering Chicago football content every single day. Now, back to business. Let's talk about why this draft pick makes even more sense when you compare Parker to the other edge rushers projected to go early. In the same mock draft, several pass rushers were taken ahead of him: explosive athletes, hybrid linebackers, speed rushers, and twitchy playmakers. They're talented. No question. But not all of them fit Chicago's defensive identity. Some are lighter. Some win with finesse rather than power. Others lack the frame or arm length that Chicago clearly prioritizes. And while those players might thrive in schemes built around pure athleticism and ultra-aggressive blitzing, the Bears need something different. They need someone who can secure the edge against the run. Someone who can anchor the front. Someone who brings physicality, consistency, and upside. That is T.J. Parker. Then we look at the Bears' current depth chart, and the picture becomes even clearer. Montez Sweat continues to play good football, but he's approaching 30 and he is not the type of edge rusher who single-handedly dominates an entire offensive line. Austin Booker is developing, but still young. Several edge defenders are hitting free agency. Others are recovering from serious injuries. Simply put, there is no foundational long-term duo on the roster right now. There is no terrifying 1-2 punch. There is no young star guaranteed to grow into an elite NFL pass rusher. Drafting Parker could change that. Look beyond the edges and the need becomes even more urgent. The interior defensive line lacks depth. Veterans are aging. Contracts are expiring. The Bears have been relying heavily on creative pressure designs to generate sacks, which is fine, but eventually, talent needs to win on its own. And right now, talent is thin. If Chicago truly wants to join the NFL's elite defenses, it starts with one thing: a dominant pass rush. Nearly every top defense in the league has one, sometimes two, pass rushers who consistently disrupt games on their own. The Bears have good defenders, even very good ones. But they do not have a scary, game-wrecking force on the edge. And in today's NFL, that is not optional. It is mandatory. Montez Sweat is a valuable piece, but he needs a running mate. A young, explosive, physical pass rusher who can take advantage of one-on-one matchups while Sweat draws attention. Someone who can take over games in the fourth quarter. Someone who can grow into a franchise cornerstone. The Bears cannot afford to rely on aging veterans or hope that developmental players will suddenly break out. They need a blue-chip talent. They need upside. They need youth. And that is precisely why this mock draft pick makes so much sense. Parker's physical measurements project well. His experience is elite. His pedigree is strong. His production, even in a down year, remains impressive. His tools are exactly what Chicago's scheme demands. And most importantly, his upside is enormous. Imagine a Bears defensive line in 2026 featuring a veteran Montez Sweat providing steady pressure, a fully recovered Dayo Odeyingbo contributing rotational impact, Austin Booker continuing to grow, Javon Dexter developing into a force inside, and T.J. Parker emerging as a young star edge defender. Suddenly, the Bears' defense becomes something entirely different. Not just solid. Not just good. But dangerous. A unit offenses must game plan around. A unit capable of closing out games. A unit capable of dominating late in the season, and in January. And all of that becomes possible with one smart draft decision. As for the pick itself, grading it based on the projection? It's an easy A. The value is tremendous. The fit is excellent. The upside is legitimate. And if Chicago is drafting at the back end of the first round, they can afford to swing for a player who could become a long-term building block. With the Bears trending upward, with the roster strengthening, and with the front office committed to building a sustainable winner, choices like this are how franchises take the next step. The more you look at it, the more it makes sense. The more the film supports it. The more the roster demands it. T.J. Parker to Chicago late in the first round? It might be the exact move that shifts the Bears' defensive future in the right direction. And if this scenario plays out on draft night, Bears fans may look back and realize that this wasn't just a good pick. It was the beginning of something bigger. Bear down.